Minjun, why did you come back to Gangnam tonight when you knew I'd be here, pretending everything between us never happened? You always do this, appearing out of the blue like the neon lights on these Seoul streets, pulling me back into a feeling I swore I buried, and I don't know how to breathe when you look at me like that. And you say that as if I planned this, as if I wanted to run into you under the soft glow of this Myeongdong cafe sign, where the smell of midnight coffee mixes with the sound of rain hitting the pavement. I came because I needed to see you, because every day since that night by the Han River has been an ache I can't walk away from anymore. You shouldn't say things like that, not to me, not when you know what it does to my heart. You're my friend's uncle, do you get that? Do you really understand how impossible this is, how wrong it feels even when it pulls me in like the warmest thing I've ever known in this cold city? Don't call me that. Don't reduce everything we felt to a title I never wanted. I'm Minjun to you, just Minjun, the man who listened to your stories on the late Seoul subway, who walked you home under streetlights, who held your trembling hands when the world felt too heavy. You know, I'm more than that label. Labels matter, they define boundaries. They keep people from crossing lines they shouldn't. And you and I, we crossed too many. We let silence grow between us like winter fog, and now you're here, asking me to pretend we didn't shatter something precious. I'm here asking you to remember it, to remember how your voice softened when you talked about your dreams, to remember how you smiled at the smallest things, to remember that night you said I made you feel safe in a way no one else ever had. Hushin, those moments weren't mistakes. You make everything sound simple, but nothing about us is simple. I'm scared. Scared that if I step toward you again, I won't be able to step back. Scared of hurting the people around us. Scared of losing you the moment I allow myself to want you. I'm scared too. You think I'm not? You think I haven't replayed every choice 1,000 times? I'm terrified, but being away from you has been worse than any fear I've ever felt. Seoul feels bigger, colder, empty. I can't keep pretending I'm fine without you. Minjun, don't say things you can't take back. Don't say things that sound like promises in this rainy night air. I'm trying so hard to stay steady, to stay rational, to keep my heart from running ahead of my mind. Please don't make this harder. I'm not making it harder. I'm telling you the truth I should have said before everything fell apart. Stop, please, let me breathe. If you say what I think you're about to say, there's no turning back for either of us. Then maybe we shouldn't turn back. Maybe forward is the only place left for us. You don't understand. If someone finds out, if she finds out, your niece, my best friend, what do you think will happen? How do you expect me to face her? How do you expect her to look at either of us again? I'll take responsibility. All of it. Every consequence. I just need you to look at me once, really look at me, and tell me you feel nothing. If you can do that, I'll walk away right now. I can't say that, and that's exactly the problem. Then why are we pretending we're strangers? Why are we acting like that night didn't change everything? Hyun, tell me what you want, even if it hurts, even if it's impossible. What I want doesn't matter. What I want is a world that doesn't exist. A world where age gaps and labels and relationships don't twist everything into knots. A world where I could walk beside you in daylight without hiding my heartbeat. But that's not our world. This is Seoul. This is real life. Nothing here is easy. I don't need easy, I just need you. You say that now, but you don't know the storm that comes after. Then let it come. I'm not afraid of storms anymore. Minjun, don't do this to me. Don't make me choose between the people I love. Hyun, look at me. I am looking. Then you already know my choice. And that was the moment everything collapsed. If you're feeling this, subscribe for more stories. Morning light slid through the thin curtains of Hyun's tiny room in Hongdae, casting pale gold across the floorboards. She hadn't slept. Her mind kept echoing with Minjun's voice from the night before, each word pressing into her chest like a quiet bruise. She wrapped her hands around a warm mug of barley tea, hoping the heat would calm the tremble in her fingers. It didn't. Outside, the city hummed. Seoul never paused for anyone's heartbreak. Hongdae students rushed past her window, laughter echoing, scooters weaving through traffic, a vendor calling out for fresh hodok. The world was moving. She wasn't. By noon, she forced herself out the door. She needed noise. She needed distraction. She needed something other than the memory of Min-jun standing under the rain-soaked cafe sign, eyes full of something she wasn't ready to name. So she headed to Myeongdong, weaving through the crowd, pretending she was just another girl running errands and not someone whose life had cracked open the night before. She stopped by a small underground bakery near the subway station. The warm smell of chestnut bread filled the air. Ordinary, simple, safe, exactly what she needed, until she heard a voice. "Ha-eun?" Her stomach tightened. She turned. Not Min-jun, his niece, Seo-yeon, her best friend. Seo-yeon smiled, cheeks flushed from rushing through the cold. "What are you doing here? You look like you barely slept." Ha-eun forced a laugh. "Long night, deadlines. You know how my boss is." "Yeah, he's a disaster," Seo-yeon said, grabbing her arm playfully. "Come with me. I'm starving. Let's get something quick before my shift." Ha-eun nodded, though her pulse hammered. She followed Seo-yeon out of the bakery and into the stream of people heading down into the subway. The familiar beeps of T-money cards, the metallic smell of the station, the rumble of incoming trains, all of it felt heavier today. As they waited on the platform, Seo-yeon chatted about her morning, her annoying co-worker, her favorite idol's new haircut. Ordinary things. But Ha-eun's mind kept drifting to the man whose existence connected them both. "By the way," Seo-yeon said suddenly, "my uncle's back in Seoul." Every muscle in Ha-eun's body froze. "Oh?" She tried to sound casual. "I didn't know." "Yeah, he came in late last night. Didn't tell anyone beforehand. Typical." Seo-yeon sighed. "I think he's been stressed." He looked exhausted on the phone, probably overworking again. A faint ache spread through Ha-eun's chest. She could still see the rain on Min-jun's shoulders, the strain in his eyes, the way his voice trembled just a little. "That sounds like him," Ha-eun said softly. "Right?" Seo-yeon rolled her eyes, not noticing anything. "Anyway, he's supposed to come to my place this weekend. You should come too. I haven't seen you in ages, and it'll be good for him to talk to someone who actually listens and isn't family." Ha-eun felt her breath catch. I'll check my schedule." "Don't check, just come," Seo-yeon insisted, nudging her. "You always make him smile. It's weird, actually. You're like his comfort person." Ha-eun nearly dropped her phone. Comfort person. If only Seo-yeon knew. The subway doors opened with a loud chime. They stepped in, grabbing onto the cold metal handles. Smooth announcements echoed overhead. People pushed in and out. Ordinary, ordinary, ordinary. Except nothing felt ordinary anymore. As the train glided along the Han River, sunlight bouncing off the water, Ha-eun stared at her reflection in the window. Her own eyes looked unfamiliar, too full, too exposed. Her phone buzzed. A message. She didn't need to open it to know who it was. She opened it anyway. "Min-jun, are you home? I shouldn't ask, but I need to talk to you, just for a moment." Her grip tightened around the phone. Heat rose to her throat. The train noise faded. "Who's texting you?" Seo-yeon asked, leaning in casually. Ha-eun quickly locked the screen. "Just work." "Tell them to leave you alone. It's lunchtime," Seo-yeon complained. "Honestly, people act like we're robots." Ha-eun swallowed hard. "Yeah, robots." Her pulse wouldn't settle. When the train stopped at Hyewa, Seo-yeon squeezed her hand and rushed off with a cheerful goodbye, completely unaware of the earthquake brewing inside her friend's chest. Ha-eun stepped onto an empty bench on the platform, inhaling the smell of cold concrete. Her thumb hovered over the screen. She shouldn't answer. She knew that. She had promised herself distance. She had promised herself control. But her heart leaned toward him every time. Finally, she opened the message again. Her breath trembled. Before she could type anything, another message appeared. "Min-jun, if you don't want to see me, I'll understand. Just, please don't disappear again." Her chest tightened painfully. She exhaled slowly, feeling Seoul's cold air seep into her bones. And then, with fingers that wouldn't stop shaking, she typed the words she feared the most. "Ha-eun, where are you?" The reply came fast. "Min-jun, Gangnam, same place as before, I'll wait." Her heart dropped. Wait? For how long? For what answer? For what future? The train roared behind her, wind brushing past like a warning she didn't know how to hear. She stood. She walked toward the exit. Her entire world shifted on its axis, and she didn't see the figure watching her from the opposite platform. A figure who knew her. A figure who knew Min Jun. A figure who shouldn't have been there. The moment she stepped onto the escalator, a cold realization crawled up her spine. This secret wasn't going to stay secret much longer, and just like that, the silence around her began to crack. Ha-eun stepped out of the subway into the sharp afternoon air of Gangnam. Traffic murmured around her, honking cars, bus brakes hissing, snippets of conversation drifting from passing couples. She wrapped her coat tighter, as if it might steady her heartbeat. It didn't. Nothing did. She walked toward the small street lined with cafes, the same place where everything had unraveled last night. Her shoes tapped lightly against the pavement, steady but unsure, like she was walking into a confession she wasn't ready to make. Min Jun stood exactly where he said he'd be, leaning against the brick wall of the cafe, hands in his pockets, shoulders slightly hunched. He wasn't pretending to look calm. He wasn't pretending anything. When he saw her, relief washed over his face so clearly it made her chest twist. "You came," he said softly. "I shouldn't have," she whispered back. He nodded as if he'd expected that answer. "But you did." For a moment they just stood there, the world moving around them. Delivery scooters buzzing by, groups of office workers laughing as they hurried toward late lunch, a man walking his tiny white dog in a sweater. Ordinary soul things. Completely unaware that Ha-eun's world tilted every time Min Jun looked at her. "We can't keep doing this," Ha-eun finally said. "I don't even know what we're trying to save anymore." "You know exactly what we're trying to save," Min Jun replied. His voice was low, steady. "You and me, whatever this is between us." "Whatever this is," she repeated with a shaky breath. "Min Jun, this isn't simple. You're older, you're her uncle." "I know what I am," he cut in gently. "And I know what I feel." She looked away, but he stepped closer. Close enough that she felt the warmth from his coat. The closeness made her dizzy. "Last night wasn't just a mistake you're trying to forget," he said. "You didn't look at me like someone you wanted to leave behind." "Don't," her voice cracked. "Don't say things that make staying impossible." "Then tell me to stop," he said. "Tell me you want distance. Tell me you want me to walk away." She felt the words rise to her lips, sharp, sensible, logical words, but they cracked before she could speak them. She didn't want him to walk away. That was the problem. That was always the problem. A soft breeze brushed past them, carrying the faint smell of roasted chestnuts from a street cart nearby. The sky above Gangnam was pale and cold, like winter waiting to settle in fully. Finally, she forced her voice to steady. "What do you want from me, Min Jun?" "The truth," he answered without hesitation. "Just that." Her throat tightened. "The truth is, I don't know how to handle this." "You don't have to handle it alone." Ha-eun swallowed, stepping back ever so slightly. The distance looked small but felt enormous. "We can't just pretend we exist in a world of two people," she said. "What about Seo-yeon? What about how she'll feel? What if she thinks I used me?" he finished quietly. "Betrayed her? Hurt her?" She nodded, unable to meet his eyes. "I won't let her think that of you," he said. "Not ever. You can't control how people see things, Min Jun. You can't protect me from everything. I can try." She let out a soft, humorless laugh. "That's not how life works." He watched her carefully. "Then what do you want to do right now? Walk away or talk to me?" Before she could answer, her phone buzzed. A message. Her heart dropped when she saw the name. Seo-yeon. "Unnie? A friend said she saw you at Gangnam Station earlier. Are you okay? Where are you now?" Ha-eun's blood ran cold. She looked up at Min Jun, panic flickering through her eyes. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "What happened?" Someone saw me," Ha-eun whispered. "At the station. If she comes here—" "Hey," he said softly, reaching out but stopping just before touching her hand. "Breathe." It's okay." "No, it's not okay," she said, pulling back. "If she comes and sees us together again, we're just talking," he said. "We could be talking about anything." "But we're not," she shot back, voice trembling. "And you know that." He didn't argue. He didn't need to. Silence stretched between them, heavy and fragile. Then, before either of them could decide what to do, another notification lit up Ha-eun's screen. "Seo-yeon. I'm in Gangnam too. I'll come find you. Wait for me." Her breath left her in one sharp exhale. "No," she whispered. "No, no, no." Min-jun straightened, eyes sharpening. "Where is she coming from?" "I don't know. Maybe the north exit. Maybe the cafes. Min-jun, we need to—" "Ha-eun!" A familiar voice rang out from down the street. They froze. Ha-eun turned slowly. Seo-yeon was jogging toward them, waving, oblivious to the tension choking the air. In that single second, Ha-eun felt her heart drop straight through the pavement, and Min-jun whispered under his breath, "This is too soon." And the moment Seo-yeon reached them, everything fragile between them trembled on the edge of breaking. Seo-yeon rushed toward them with the bright, innocent energy of someone who had no idea she was stepping into the middle of a storm. She didn't notice the way Ha-eun stiffened or how Min-jun subtly shifted his posture like he was bracing for impact. To her, this was just a coincidence, nothing more than running into two people she cared about. "There you are," Seo-yeon said, cheeks flushed. "I've been walking all over trying to find you, Uni. You weren't answering my texts and I got worried." Ha-eun forced a smile. "Sorry, my phone was in my coat pocket." Seo-yeon turned to Min-jun. "Uncle, why are you here again? You didn't say you were coming to Gangnam today." Min-jun gave her a practiced, easy smile. "Just taking a walk. Needed some fresh air." "Since when do you take walks?" she teased. He shrugged lightly. "Since today." Seo-yeon laughed, totally convinced. Ha-eun felt her lungs slowly loosen. Maybe, just maybe, they could survive this moment without suspicion. "You two know each other, obviously," Seo-yeon said, oblivious. "So it's kind of cute running into both of you at the same time like this. Seoul is huge but somehow feels small, right?" Ha-eun nodded, hoping her smile didn't look as strained as it felt. "Yeah, small." "Anyway," Seo-yeon continued, "I was actually going to invite you both to grab something to eat. There's a tteokbokki place nearby that's trending lately. Everyone says their sauce is amazing." Min-jun and Ha-eun exchanged quick glances. Just a heartbeat of shared panic. Too fast for Seo-yeon to notice, too loaded not to feel. "That sounds great," Min-jun said calmly, "but I actually have a meeting in a bit." "A meeting? On your day off?" "It came up last minute." "Ugh, adults are depressing," Seo-yeon said dramatically. Min-jun smiled faintly, but Ha-eun could see the tension around his eyes. "What about you, Unnie?" Seo-yeon asked. "Come with me?" Ha-eun hesitated. If she said no, Seo-yeon might notice. If she said yes, she wasn't sure she could eat a single bite with her heart tangled like this. But Min-jun gave her the smallest nod, barely a signal, but she understood it instantly. "Go. Keep things normal. Keep suspicion away." "Sure," Ha-eun said, finding her voice. "Tteokbokki sounds good." "Great." Seo-yeon linked arms with her, completely unaware that Ha-eun's pulse jumped at the sudden closeness. "Uncle, next time you better come with us." "I will," he promised. Seo-yeon waved cheerfully and dragged Ha-eun away, but Ha-eun glanced back once. Min-jun was watching her, eyes filled with something heavy, something unspoken, something she wasn't ready to name but couldn't deny. She tore her gaze away just before he looked like he might follow. As they walked down the busy Gangnam street, the sound of passing buses drowned out Ha-eun's heartbeat. Still, she felt like her secret was pulsing against her ribs, threatening to spill out if she took one wrong breath. "So," Seo-yeon said casually, "what were you and my uncle talking about?" The world went silent for a split second. Ha-eun kept her tone light. "Nothing special, just catching up. We ran into each other by chance." Seo-yeon grinned. "He must like talking to you. He never opens up to anyone, not even family." Ha-eun's throat tightened. I think you're exaggerating. I'm not, Seo-yeon said, tugging her closer as they crossed the street. You should have seen him when he lived with us for a bit. Total robot. But whenever you came over, he looked different. Different, Ha-eun echoed, trying to sound amused. Yeah, softer. Like he wasn't tired anymore. I always thought he treated you like a younger sister or something. It was cute. Ha-eun felt her steps falter. Younger sister. If only Seo-yeon knew how wrong that was. How impossible that label had always been. How everything inside her heart twisted at the idea. You should have seen how he talked about you yesterday, Seo-yeon continued, without noticing Ha-eun's silence. I called him to ask if he wanted dinner, and he mentioned he ran into you a few days ago. His voice literally changed. Ha-eun's pulse stuttered. What do you mean, changed? I don't know. Lighter. Like he was relieved? Comforted? Honestly, you two get along in such a weirdly natural way. It's almost like you share some secret language. Ha-eun felt cold. If only Seo-yeon knew how frighteningly accurate that was. They reached the tteokbokki shop, warm air rushing out as Seo-yeon opened the door. Inside, steam fogged the windows, and the scent of spicy rice cakes wrapped around them like a blanket. People chatted quietly at small tables. It felt safe. Too safe. They ordered and sat near the window. Seoul's cold streets blurred behind the glass. So, Unnie, Seo-yeon said, stirring her food, be honest, does my uncle ever talk to you about stuff he doesn't tell me? The chopsticks nearly slipped from Ha-eun's fingers. What kind of stuff? You know, life, work, feelings. Seo-yeon shrugged. He never says anything to me. It's always, I'm fine or don't worry. But with you, I don't know. It seems different. A tight knot formed in Ha-eun's stomach. We're not that close, Ha-eun said softly. Seo-yeon tilted her head. Really? I always thought you two had something, I don't know, some kind of bond. Ha-eun forced a small laugh. You're imagining things. Maybe, Seo-yeon said, smiling. But honestly, Unnie, I hope he finds someone someday. He's been lonely for too long. He deserves something real. The words hit harder than they should have. Ha-eun lowered her gaze, stirring her food without eating. Something real. Did she dare imagine that? Did she dare let it exist even in her mind? Her phone buzzed again, a new message. She didn't have to open it to know who it was, but she opened it anyway. Minjun. Are you okay? Ha-eun's breath caught. She typed back with trembling hands. Ha-eun. She's with me. She didn't notice anything. I think. A moment later, Minjun. Be careful. Someone saw you earlier. Not just her. Her heart stopped. Someone else? Before she could respond, another message came. Minjun. I think we're being watched. The chopsticks slipped from her hands, clattering against the table. Unnie? Seo-yeon asked. What's wrong? Ha-eun lifted her head slowly. Her reflection shimmered faintly in the fogged cafe window, and behind her reflection, a silhouette stood across the street, staring directly at her through the glass. And in that moment, Ha-eun realized the secret she was trying so hard to protect was already slipping out of her control. The silhouette didn't move. It stood perfectly still on the opposite side of the street, half blurred by the fog on the cafe window, half lit by the soft glow of a street lamp. Ha-eun felt a cold shiver climb up her spine, anchoring her in place. Unnie? Seo-yeon's voice was soft but confused. Why do you look like you just saw a ghost? Ha-eun blinked hard. The shadow remained, watching, unmoving, silent. I'm fine, she whispered, though her voice was tight. Maybe I just need some air. Seo-yeon frowned. You haven't even eaten. Are you sure you're okay? Ha-eun forced a small smile. Yeah, the shop is just warm. I'll step outside for a second. Before Seo-yeon could question her further, Ha-eun slid out of her seat and walked toward the door. The bell above it chimed softly as she stepped into the cold Gangnam street. Breath fogged in front of her. Wind brushed her hair back, but the figure she'd seen was gone. Just gone. Her pulse jumped painfully. She scanned the area, behind the bus stop near the streetcar toward the subway exit. Nothing. Only ordinary people going on with their afternoon. Yet she couldn't shake the feeling that someone had been standing there a moment ago, watching her like they already knew what she was trying to hide. Her phone vibrated. Min-jun. "Are you still with her?" She typed fast. "Ha-eun. I saw someone outside the cafe. They were watching, but now they're gone." His reply came instantly. "Min-jun, stay where you are, I'm coming." She felt panic rise. She typed quickly before he could do something reckless. "Ha-eun. No, don't come here. She's inside. She'll see you." The typing bubble appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, "Min-jun, I don't like this. Someone followed you. Or us. I'm sure of it." A gust of wind pushed past her, cutting through her coat. She hugged herself, suddenly feeling exposed, standing alone on the sidewalk. The cafe door opened behind her. Seo-yeon stepped out, holding both their bags. "Uni, what's wrong? You look pale." "I'm fine," Ha-eun repeated, though the words had lost their strength. "No, you're not." Seo-yeon's expression softened. "Did something happen? Did someone bother you?" Ha-eun considered telling her. Just for a moment. But she swallowed the truth. If she let a single thread unravel, everything would follow. "No one bothered me," she said gently. "I just got startled, that's all." Seo-yeon slipped her arm through Ha-eun's, warming her with effortless affection. "You scared me, honey. Let's just go somewhere quiet, okay? Maybe walk toward the subway and take the long route home." Ha-eun nodded. They began walking, weaving through the late afternoon crowd. The closer they got to the station, the more uneasy Ha-eun felt, not because of Min-jun, not because of guilt, because she felt eyes on her again. She turned subtly. There, far back, near a skincare shop, stood a man in a dark jacket. Not close enough to see his face, not close enough to approach, but she recognized his stance, the slight tilt of his head, the same silhouette. "Oh no," she breathed. "Uni?" Seo-yeon looked at her. "What is it?" Ha-eun forced her face neutral. "Nothing. I just remembered something." But inside, her panic twisted tighter. She didn't know who he was. She didn't know what he had seen. She didn't know how long he had been following, but one thing she did know, this wasn't coincidence. When they reached the subway entrance, Seo-yeon suddenly stopped and turned to her. "Uni, did something happen between you and my uncle?" The breath left Ha-eun's body. She froze, completely. "What?" Her voice was too sharp, too fast. Seo-yeon blinked. "I mean, you two seemed weird today. Tense. Did you guys fight? Did he say something stupid again?" Ha-eun's heart thudded. "No, nothing like that." "Then why are you acting like you're hiding something?" The world around them spun for a moment. Voices, footsteps, chimes blending into one dizzying blur. Because she was hiding something, something that could break everything. Before she could answer, a shout echoed from behind them. "Hey!" Both girls turned. A man from across the sidewalk was waving, jogging toward them. Ha-eun's heart seized. Was it him? The man in the shadow? But as he got closer, she realized he wasn't looking at her. He was looking at Seo-yeon. "You dropped this earlier," he said, holding out a small hair clip. Seo-yeon blinked, then laughed. "Oh, thank you, I didn't even notice." While she retrieved it, Ha-eun scanned the area again. The silhouette was gone. Again. Her skin crawled. "Uni," Seo-yeon said softly, falling into step beside her. "You're shaking." "I'm just cold," Ha-eun whispered. They entered the subway station. Warm air wrapped around them, but Ha-eun couldn't shake the sense of danger pressing against her spine. A train rushed into the platform, loud and bright. Seo-yeon nudged her. "Let's take this one." But just as Ha-eun stepped toward the train doors, her phone buzzed violently. She looked down. "Min-jun." "Ha-eun. Someone was at your building earlier. Someone I didn't recognize. This isn't random anymore." Her breath caught. She typed back fast. "Ha-eun, what do you mean someone was at my building?" A moment later, "Min-jun, I think someone knows about us. The train doors opened with a soft chime. Steam and warm air rushed out. And as Hyun stepped forward, one chilling thought struck her. If someone knew, how long had they known, and what were they planning to do with that truth? The door alarm beeped, passengers pushed forward, and the ground beneath her shifted because her secret was no longer just hers to protect. Someone else had already taken hold of it. The subway doors slid shut behind them, sealing Ha-eun and Seo-yeon inside the crowded train. The air was warm, filled with the scent of winter coats and soft chatter. But Ha-eun felt none of it. Her heart was a frantic rhythm, louder than the announcements echoing overhead. Someone knew. Someone had been at her building. Someone had followed her in Gangnam, and Min-jun. He sounded scared. He never sounded scared. Seo-yeon nudged her gently. "Annie, you're zoning out again." "Just tired," Hyun murmured. But her hands were shaking. The train lurched forward, and she grabbed the handrail. Her breath fogged slightly in the cold air that seeped in through the cracks of the door. Lights flickered overhead as they passed dark tunnel walls. She checked her phone again. No new messages from Min-jun, just the last one. "I think someone knows about us." Her stomach twisted. "Hey," Seo-yeon whispered, leaning closer so others wouldn't overhear. "Are you sure nothing happened between you and my uncle? You're acting strange." Ha-eun forced her expression steady. "Really? Nothing happened?" But Seo-yeon didn't look convinced. She studied Ha-eun's face with a seriousness she rarely used. "You can tell me anything, you know," she said quietly. "If something's bothering you, I want to help." Ha-eun's throat tightened. Seo-yeon had always been like this, warm, loyal, endlessly trusting. The idea of betraying that trust felt like stepping on thin ice, hearing it crack with every breath. "I'm okay," Ha-eun said, softer now. "Really?" Seo-yeon sighed but let it go. The subway rolled into the next station, the doors opening with a metallic hiss. A few people stepped out, others stepped in. A young couple in matching coats laughed softly near the door. A delivery worker wiped sweat from his brow. Life moved around her, peaceful and ordinary. But then, a flash of movement outside the train, a familiar dark jacket, a silhouette near the platform pillar. Her blood froze. Not again. The man stood still, head slightly tilted toward the train. She couldn't see his face, only the outline of his figure in the dim station light. Ha-eun's heart pounded against her ribs. "Unni?" Seo-yeon asked, noticing her sudden stillness. But before Ha-eun could speak, the train doors began to close. She watched the figure, watched him take one slow step forward, watched him reach into his coat. Then the doors shut completely, blocking him from view. The train pulled away. Ha-eun stumbled back, gripping the rail with trembling hands. "Okay, seriously," Seo-yeon said, worry tightening her voice. "You're scaring me. What's going on?" Ha-eun opened her mouth, and her phone vibrated again. She looked down. A new message from Min-jun. "Min-jun, don't go home yet." Her breath caught. Another message followed immediately. "Min-jun, stay somewhere crowded. I think something's wrong." A chill crept across her skin, despite the warm subway air. Seo-yeon noticed the fear in her eyes. "Is it work? Did something happen?" Ha-eun swallowed hard. I just need to think." "Think about what?" Ha-eun hesitated, searching for something that wouldn't break everything. But before she could answer, the subway suddenly jerked harder than usual, making both girls grab onto the handles. The speaker crackled. "We're experiencing a minor delay due to congestion ahead. Thank you for your patience," the announcement droned. But Ha-eun didn't feel patient. She felt trapped. The train crawled forward slowly. When it finally arrived at the next station, the doors slid open. People rushed out. But before anyone could board, a tall man stepped into the doorway, blocking the entrance. Still. Silent. Ha-eun's breath stopped. The same dark jacket, the same silhouette. Closer now. Too close. He didn't get on the train. He just stood in the doorway, eyes hidden by the shadow of his cap, body angled directly toward her, as if he had been following the train. waiting for the doors to open, waiting for her. "Unni," Seo-yeon whispered, grabbing her hand. "Who is that?" Ha-eun couldn't speak. The man didn't move, didn't blink, didn't breathe, it seemed. Passengers behind him grew annoyed. "Are you getting on?" someone asked. No answer. He just watched Ha-eun. Her knees wobbled. The warning chime echoed. Doors closing. He stepped back at the last second, disappearing into the crowd as the doors slid shut again. Ha-eun collapsed into her seat, chest rising and falling too fast. Her vision blurred at the edges. "Unni, talk to me," Seo-yeon begged, shaking her arm. But Ha-eun couldn't form a single word. All she could do was grab her phone with trembling fingers and type the truth to the only person who could understand. "Ha-eun, he found me again. He followed the train. I saw him at 2 stations. Who is he, Min-jun? What's happening?" She hit send. The typing bubble appeared almost instantly. Then, "Min-jun, Ha-eun, listen to me carefully." Her pulse stilled. "Min-jun, don't let Seo-yeon out of your sight. Don't separate from her for any reason." Her skin prickled with cold. Min-jun never sounded urgent. Not like this. "Ha-eun, why? Who is he?" This time the reply took longer. Too long. "Finally, Min-jun, because the man following you isn't after you." Ha-eun's breath hitched. "Min-jun, he's after her." And in that instant, the ground under Ha-eun's feet felt like it disappeared completely. The train sped through the tunnel, lights flickering overhead, each flash revealing the terror sinking into her chest as she realized she and Seo-yeon were in danger, far deeper than anything she had imagined. The subway lights flickered again, briefly washing the train car in a cold white glow. Ha-eun felt her pulse in her throat, her wrists, her temples, everywhere at once. Across from her, Seo-yeon still held her hand tightly, unaware that her world had just tilted toward danger. Someone was after her. Not Ha-eun. Her. Ha-eun tried to swallow, but her mouth was dry, like her body knew something her mind hadn't processed yet. "Unni," Seo-yeon whispered, her voice small. "You're scaring me. Can you please tell me what's going on?" Ha-eun exhaled slowly. I don't know yet, but stay close to me, okay? Don't let go." Seo-yeon nodded, eyes wide with confusion. The train rolled into Dongdaemun. A handful of people stepped off, others came in. The smell of cold wind followed them before the doors clicked shut again. Ha-eun checked her phone. No new messages from Min-jun. The silence from him felt heavier than any response. Then the train jolted, and an older woman beside them muttered, "This line's been strange today, so many delays." Ha-eun closed her eyes for a moment. She needed to think, to breathe. But every time she inhaled, she saw that dark jacket at the station, that shadow tilting its head toward her, towards Seo-yeon. Her thoughts spiraled. Who was he? How long had he followed them? Why Seo-yeon? The only living person who might know wasn't here. Min-jun was on the other side of the city, trying to warn them with pieces of a truth he couldn't say outright. The train softened in speed as it approached the next station. The bright station lights made the reflection in the window clearer. Ha-eun's pale face next to Seo-yeon's worried one, and behind them, passengers shifting, minding their own lives. Nothing strange, nothing dangerous, except the moment the train slowed to a full stop, Ha-eun saw him again. The silhouette, right outside their doors, standing still, facing them. Her breath fractured. "Oh my God." "Unni?" Seo-yeon followed her gaze and froze. Do you know him?" "No." Ha-eun grabbed her wrist. "Don't move." The man didn't step in this time. He simply watched, studied, as if confirming something. Then, just as the doors began to close, he reached into his coat again. Not fast, not threatening, just deliberate. Seo-yeon flinched. "Is he taking a picture?" Ha-eun's stomach lurched. Yes. He was holding up a phone, pointed directly at them. The doors shut. The train pulled away. The silhouette disappeared behind a rush of lights and steel. Seo-yeon's voice trembled. "Why would someone take a picture of us?" Ha-eun shook her head. "I don't know, but we're getting off at the next station." "Why? Home is still 3 stops away." "We're not going home," Ha-eun whispered. She texted Min-jun quickly. Ha-un, he took a picture of us, of both of us. What does he want with her? Please tell me the truth. This time, the reply came almost instantly. Min-jun, get off the train, now. Call me when you're somewhere safe. Her fingers tightened around the phone. Ha-un, but why her? What does he want with Seo-yeon? A short pause. Then, Min-jun. Because of something that happened years ago. Something her family never told her. Ha-un's breath caught. Ha-un, what are you talking about? What happened? The typing bubble appeared, then vanished, then appeared again. Finally, Min-jun, I'll explain when you're out. You're not safe there. The train slowed into the next stop, Yongno Trega. The doors chimed. Ha-un stood. Seo-yeon, we're getting off. But no arguments, please. Something in her voice made Seo-yeon obey instantly. They stepped off onto the platform, swallowed by the crowd of commuters. Warm air hummed through the station. People brushed past them, headphones in, bags swinging at their sides, unaware of the invisible thread of tension pulling tight around the girls. Uni, Seo-yeon whispered. I'm scared. Ha-un cupped her face gently. I won't let anything happen to you, but we can't stay here long. She scanned the area. No sign of the man, no dark jacket, no silhouette. But the absence felt just as dangerous. The platform began to thin as the train pulled away. The screech of metal died slowly, leaving them in a quieter echo of the underground. Ha-un's phone buzzed again. Min-jun. Where are you? She replied quickly. Ha-un. Jongno Trega. We're near the center of the platform. He responded immediately. Min-jun. Good. Don't go upstairs yet. Not until I tell you. And stay away from the edges. He could be watching the platforms from above. Ha-un swallowed, guiding Seo-yeon away from the yellow safety line. Her hand wrapped around Seo-yeon's, firm and protective. We should go up, Seo-yeon whispered. I just want to leave this place. I know, Ha-un said softly. Just a little longer. How do you know all this? Seo-yeon asked. Why is my uncle even involved? Ha-un hesitated. Because he's worried about you. Why? What does he know that I don't? Footsteps echoed behind them, loud, fast, purposeful. Both girls froze. Ha-un turned slowly. A man walked toward them. Not running, not frantic, just steady, focused. The same dark jacket, the same silhouette. Closer now, too close. Annie, Seo-yeon whispered, voice cracking. Ha-un pulled her behind her, heart pounding like it might burst. The man stopped several meters away. He lifted his head. This time she saw his eyes, blank, cold, unblinking. He opened his mouth as if to say something, but before a single word escaped, a voice shouted from the staircase above, "Hey, get away from them!" Both girls jerked their heads upward, and there, racing down the steps, was Min-jun, out of breath, face pale, expression deadly serious. He wasn't supposed to be here. He was far across the city. But he came. He came for them. For her. The man in the dark jacket took one step backward, eyes narrowing. Then, without hesitation, he turned and ran. And as the echo of his footsteps vanished into the tunnels, the truth Ha-un had feared pressed harder than ever. This wasn't a coincidence. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was the beginning of something far darker than she and Min-jun had ever imagined. Min-jun reached them in seconds, but he looked like he'd been running for miles. Breath ragged, hair damp with sweat, eyes burning with fear he didn't bother to hide. He grabbed Ha-un's shoulder first, then Seo-yeon's, checking them instinctively like they might vanish if he blinked. "Are you hurt?" he asked, voice shaking. Both girls shook their heads, though Ha-un could barely feel her legs beneath her. Min-jun exhaled hard, relief flooding his face for a brief, fragile moment. But it evaporated the second he looked toward the tunnel where the man had disappeared. He was too close, he muttered under his breath. Too damn close. Seo-yeon lifted her trembling hands. "Uncle, who was that? Why was he following us? Why was he looking at me?" Min-jun went still. It was the kind of stillness that came right before breaking open. "That's what I need to tell you," he said quietly. But the station wasn't safe. Even Ha-un felt it. Eyes, shadows, the weight of being watched. People walked around them, unaware, but she couldn't shake the sense that danger still lingered at the edges of the crowd. "Come on," Min-jun said, guiding them away from the center. "We need to get somewhere quieter, somewhere no one can hear us." But as they neared the stairway, station alarms echoed faintly from a distant platform, an emergency call about someone trespassing near the tracks. Min-jun stiffened. "That's him," he whispered. "He's not gone. He's moving through the tunnels." A chill crawled along Ha-un's spine. Seo-yeon clung to her uncle's sleeve. "Why me? What did I do?" Min-jun stopped. Right in the middle of the staircase. People muttered as they squeezed around them, but he didn't budge. "You didn't do anything," he said softly. "This isn't your fault." "Then why?" He hesitated. Looked at Ha-un. A silent plea. "Don't panic. Don't react. Don't break yet." But the truth was already pressing against the backs of his teeth. "Because of your dad," he finally said. Seo-yeon's breath hitched. "Appa? Why him?" "He wasn't the man you thought he was," Min-jun said, each word heavy as iron. "And the person following you, he wasn't after you back then. He was after your father." Seo-yeon froze. "Uncle, that doesn't make sense. Dad was just an office worker. No, Min-jun said sharply. "He wasn't." Silence swallowed the entire stairway for a heartbeat. Ha-un felt her pulse stutter. She'd known Seo-yeon's father briefly. Kind smile, soft voice, always bringing pastries from a bakery near the Han River. Nothing about him had seemed secretive or dangerous. "What are you saying?" Seo-yeon whispered. "That he crossed the wrong person," Min-jun said. "And when he died, that person didn't stop looking." Seo-yeon's eyes widened in horror. "Are you telling me Appa's death wasn't an accident?" Min-jun closed his eyes. That was enough of an answer. Seo-yeon swayed, clutching the handrail for balance. Ha-chun caught her shoulders gently. "You never told me," Seo-yeon said, voice cracking. "You never told me any of this." "I didn't want you to carry it," Min-jun said. "You were already grieving. You were a kid. It wasn't your burden." "But now it's following me," she cried. "Now it's chasing me through subway stations, taking pictures of me, watching me." Her voice broke into a sob. Ha-un wrapped her arms around her, holding her close. The weight of terror, confusion, betrayal, everything poured out of the trembling girl. Min-jun watched with a pain so raw it shook Ha-un's chest. He cared for Seo-yeon deeply, more than he ever admitted. He brushed the back of his hand across his forehead and whispered, "I thought it was over. I thought he had stopped looking after all these years." "Who is he?" Ha-un asked, voice soft but trembling. Min-jun hesitated. Then, "He's someone your father once worked with. Someone who lost everything because of him. Someone who thinks he deserves answers." "Answers about what?" Min-jun swallowed hard. "About money that went missing. About investments that weren't real. About betrayal that ruined lives." Ha-un's breath hitched. "You're saying her father?" "Yes," Min-jun said. "He was involved in something illegal, dangerous, and when it blew up, people got hurt." Seo-yeon shook her head violently. No, my dad wouldn't. He wouldn't do that. He was gentle. He was trying to protect you," Min-jun said, his voice cracking. "Everything he did was to save you from what was coming." "And now it's coming anyway," Seo-yeon whispered. Ha-un tightened her hold. "We'll protect you. Both of us." Min-jun stepped closer, lowering his voice. "The man following you, and he wants information. He wants closure. And he thinks you might know something your father left behind." Seo-yeon's face drained of all color. "I don't know anything." "I know," Min-jun said. "But he doesn't believe that." Before Ha-un could speak, her phone buzzed again. She glanced at the screen. A new message. Unknown number. Her heart dropped. Unknown. Pretty picture at the station. "You two look close. Going anywhere interesting next?" Ha-un felt the blood drain from her body. "Min-jun," she whispered, voice trembling. "He has my number." When he saw the message, something dark and furious flickered in his eyes. "We're leaving," he said. "Now." "Where?" Ha-un asked. To some place he can't reach, Min-jun replied. But as they climbed the stairs, a piercing announcement echoed through the station. Security notice, suspicious individual spotted entering Line 1 transfer corridor. Please proceed with caution. Min-jun grabbed both girls' hands. His voice dropped to a fierce whisper. He's not done. He's getting closer. And as the three of them ran toward the exit, the heavy truth settled into Ha-un's bones. This wasn't just danger anymore. This was a hunt, and they were running out of places to hide. Cold evening air rushed into their faces the moment they exited the station. Seoul's usual brightness, neon lights, honking taxis, people hurrying through crosswalks, felt sharper, louder, almost hostile, like the city itself was watching. Min-jun kept one hand wrapped around Seo-yeon's wrist and the other around Ha-un's. Not gently, desperately. His grip said what he couldn't say out loud. Don't leave my sight. They crossed a side street into a narrow alley behind an office building, the kind lined with cigarette butts and flickering lights. It wasn't safer, but it was hidden. Uncle, slow down, Seo-yeon gasped. I can't, my legs. He stopped. His chest rose and fell sharply, breath fogging in the cold. He ran a trembling hand through his hair. Sorry, he said, voice strained. I'm sorry, I need to think. Ha-un stepped closer to him. We're all here. We're not hurt. Just talk to us. Tell us what's happening. He looked at her then, really looked. His eyes softened, but only for a second. Then they hardened again. He has your number, Min-jun said tightly. That means he's already been near you. He got close enough to see your phone. Maybe close enough to hear you. Maybe close enough to follow you home without you noticing. A cold shiver spread through Ha-un's shoulders. Seo-yeon hugged herself. Why does he want something from me? I'm not my father. I don't know anything. He thinks you do, Min-jun replied. Or he wants leverage. Your father's name still means something to the wrong people. The wind cut through the alley. The hum of the main street felt far away now, muted by fear. Ha-un stepped beside Seo-yeon and gently straightened the girl's scarf. We'll figure this out together. You're not alone. Seo-yeon nodded, but tears were already gathering, trembling on her lashes. I don't understand. Why now? Why after all these years? Why find me now? Min-jun hesitated, eyes shifting away. Because something changed. Changed how? Ha-un asked. He exhaled slowly. Her father left something behind, something people believed was gone. But recently, someone hinted it still exists, and if it does, they think she's the only one who might know where it is. Seo-yeon's eyes widened. I don't. I swear, Uncle, I don't. I know, he said, but he doesn't believe that. A streetlight flickered overhead. A motorcycle sped past the end of the alley, and all three of them tensed. Min-jun scanned the area again, every corner, every shadow, every rooftop. We need to move. We can't stay in one place. Where will we go? Ha-un asked. There's a small office tel in Hongdae I used years ago, he said. No one knows about it, not even family. Seo-yeon's lower lip trembled. I'm scared. I know, he whispered, pulling her into a tight hug. And I'm sorry I couldn't protect you sooner. The hug broke something inside Ha-un, something deep, quiet, aching. Watching him hold her felt heavy, like seeing a man carrying guilt his whole life without rest. But then his eyes lifted and met hers. Without words, he was asking her, stay, don't leave us, don't leave me. Her breath caught. I'm with you, she said softly. Relief flickered through his expression, small but real. They started moving, out of the alley through side streets, weaving past groups of office workers heading to dinner. The city grew darker as they walked north, the neon signs giving way to quieter roads and cheaper restaurants. Halfway to Hongdae, they ducked into a small coffee shop near an old laundromat. The owner barely glanced at them as he steamed milk, the warm smell of espresso filling the air. Sit, Min-jun said. Act normal. They slid into a corner booth. Hyun sat beside Seo-yeon, draping an arm around her as the girl continued wiping silent tears. Min-jun sat across from them, leaning forward, hands clasped tightly. "We don't have a lot of time," he said. "I need you both to listen." Hyun nodded. "Go on." He took a breath. Years ago, before Seo-yeon was born, her father worked for an investment group that wasn't exactly legal. At first, it was small things, missing paperwork, altered numbers, but eventually, money started disappearing. Large amounts. Seo-yeon wiped her eyes. "You told me he worked for a tech company." "I told you what you needed to survive," Min-jun whispered. Ha-eun touched his hand under the table. It steadied him. "When the group collapsed," he continued, "it ruined several people. That man, the one following us, lost everything. His business, his savings, his family. And he believed Seo-yeon's father hid the missing money before he died." Seo-yeon shook her head. "That's insane. My father wouldn't. He wouldn't hide something like that. He wasn't that kind of person." "He was trying to protect you," Min-jun said gently. "Everything he did was for you." Ha-eun felt the weight of the moment, like a fragile thread stretched too thin. "Then why chase me?" Seo-yeon asked. "If the money existed, it would have been found by now." "Not if it was hidden under someone else's name," Min-jun said quietly. "Someone young, someone the group would never suspect." Ha-eun froze. "Wait," she whispered. "Are you saying—" "Yes," Min-jun said. "There's a possibility the key, the access, whatever he left behind, might be tied to something in Seo-yeon's identity." Seo-yeon stared at him, face pale. "Like what?" "A safety box, a password, a bank account, something he created before he died." Silence fell over the booth. Ha-eun felt a cold realization settle deep in her bones. This wasn't just danger. This wasn't just a stalker. This was a man who believed Seo-yeon held the key to everything he lost, and he wasn't going to stop. Before anyone could speak again, the bell over the cafe door chimed. 3 heads snapped up at once. A man stepped inside, not the stalker, not familiar, but he scanned the shop slowly, methodically, like he was looking for someone. Min-jun's hand slid under the table, towards something in his coat pocket. His eyes sharpened. The man took 1 step deeper into the shop. Then his gaze landed on their table, long enough to make Ha-eun's blood run cold, and in that breathless moment she knew they were no longer hiding. They had been found, and facial features, Seoul urban aesthetic, natural emotional lighting, Asian drama look. 16:9. The man's gaze lingered too long, not curious, not accidental, intentional. Min-jun didn't move. His posture looked relaxed, but Ha-eun saw the tension in his jaw, the coil in his shoulders. He was ready to stand, ready to protect, ready to fight if he had to. The man took another step, his shoes tapping softly against the cafe's worn wooden floor. The espresso machine hissed behind the counter. Outside, traffic murmured. Life went on in the city, but inside the tiny coffee shop, the world had narrowed to a single suffocating moment. Seo-yeon's hand found Ha-eun's under the table, ice cold. "Don't look at him," Min-jun murmured, barely moving his lips. Ha-eun kept her eyes lowered to her cup, but her pulse throbbed in her ears. The man walked past their table. 1 step, 2 steps, then stopped just behind Min-jun's chair. Ha-eun's breath halted. "Excuse me," the man said, voice low and unfamiliar. Min-jun slowly turned his head. "Yes?" "You dropped this outside," the man said, then extended a single folded piece of paper. Min-jun didn't reach for it. "What is it?" he asked. "No idea," the man replied. "I just saw it fall from your pocket near the laundromat. Thought you might want it." Min-jun's eyes didn't leave the man's. Everyone in the cafe felt it. The tension, the stillness, the way the air thickened like rain-heavy clouds before a storm. Finally, Min-jun reached out and took the paper, his fingers steady even though Ha-eun knew his heart must have been racing. "Thanks," he said. The man nodded and walked away, leaving the cafe without ordering anything. The door chimed once, twice, then silence. No one breathed. Ha-eun leaned in. "Min-jun, what is it? What did he give you?" Minjun didn't answer immediately. He unfolded the paper slowly, smoothing the creases. Just 6 words, written in black ink, sharp, precise, like a warning carved into bone. I'm not the only one watching. Seo-yeon's breath hitched. Uncle, what does that mean? It means he wasn't working alone, Minjun said quietly. And it means someone else knows where we are. He folded the paper again and tucked it into his coat. His eyes darkened, gaze shifting toward the window as though expecting someone to appear on the other side of the glass. Girls, he said, we're leaving, now. They grabbed their bags without a word. Hyun's legs shook as she stood. The floor felt uneven beneath her feet. But Minjun was already moving, guiding them toward the back exit of the cafe. We're not going out the front, he said. Too open. The back hallway smelled faintly of detergent and old coffee grounds. A metal door led into a narrow alley filled with trash bins and recycling bags. Seoul's neon lights glowed faintly at the far end. Minjun paused, scanning the alley. No movement, no shadows. But that didn't mean they were alone. Stay close, he whispered. They walked quickly toward the street. Every footstep echoed too loudly. Every distant engine sounded like someone approaching. Seoul felt unfamiliar, no longer comforting, no longer ordinary. At the alley's end, the city opened again, bright lights, steady traffic, people rushing by without noticing the fear in their eyes. Where now? Hyun asked, breath uneven. Minjun didn't hesitate. To the office tell, we'll be safe there for a while. But just as they stepped into the crosswalk, a black car turned the corner too sharply. It screeched to a stop inches from them. Seo-yeon screamed. Ha-eun grabbed her. Minjun threw an arm out, pulling them back. The window rolled down. A man leaned out. Not the one from the station, not the one from the cafe. Another stranger. 3 words left his mouth, casual and cold. Going somewhere, Seo-yeon. Her knees buckled. Minjun shoved the girls behind him. Get away from us. The man smirked. Relax. I'm just here to talk. Your father would have understood. Don't say his name, Seo-yeon whispered, trembling. The smirk widened. Why not? After all, you're the only thing he left behind that's worth chasing. Minjun lunged forward, but the car accelerated instantly, tires screeching across the pavement as it sped away into the night. Traffic drowned its engine. Pedestrians gasped. Then the street fell back into a terrifying normal. Seo-yeon collapsed to her knees, shaking uncontrollably. Ha-eun dropped beside her, wrapping her arms around her tightly. It's okay, Ha-eun whispered, though she didn't believe her own words. We're okay, we're okay. Minjun stood there, chest heaving, fists clenched so tight his knuckles went white. A storm brewed under his skin, a rage mixed with guilt, fear, and something darker. Then his phone buzzed. He looked down. New message. Unknown number. He opened it. A single photo appeared. Ha-eun's heart sank when she saw his reaction. What is it? She asked. He turned the screen toward them. It was a picture taken just seconds ago, of their backs, crossing the street, from above, a rooftop angle, and beneath it, a caption. You're too slow, Minjun. She belongs to us now. The world tilted. Seo-yeon's sobs broke into a scream. Ha-eun felt her blood turn to ice, and Minjun's voice dropped into something dangerous, something she had never heard from him before. He wants a war, he said. He looked at both girls. Fine, he'll get one. And under the neon lights of Seoul, Ha-eun understood. Their lives weren't just unraveling. They were being hunted, and the night was far from over. The street noise blurred into a distant hum, like Seoul itself had stepped back and left the 3 of them suspended in a quiet, suffocating bubble. Minjun pocketed his phone with a sharp breath, then crouched in front of Seo-yeon, gently lifting her chin. His hands were warm, steady, completely opposite of the chaos around them. Seo-yeon, he whispered, look at me. She tried, but her eyes kept darting around, searching the rooftops, the passing cars, the reflections in the windows. They took a picture of us, she trembled. From above. That means they're everywhere. Uncle, they're everywhere. No, he said firmly. They're not everywhere. They're not ghosts. They're men hiding behind fear. And I won't let them touch you. Do you hear me? But she only shook harder. Hyun stepped in, taking Seo-yeon's cold hands in hers. Hey, breathe with me. Just breathe. Slowly. She inhaled, exhaled, showed her how, and eventually, shakily, Seo-yeon followed. A small fragment of calm settled over them, though it was fragile, like a thin layer of ice ready to crack. Min-jun stood again, eyes scanning the buildings, the rooftops, the passing faces, the reflections in the store glass. He looked like a man turning into something sharper, more dangerous, pulled forward by instincts he hadn't needed in years. He motioned quickly. We're going now, before they change positions. They walked fast, half running, half stumbling, through a maze of back streets behind Hongdae's main road. Neon signs faded into dimmer alley lights. Music from bars softened into muffled thumps. The city felt both familiar and foreign, alive and threatening. Uncle, Seo-yeon whispered, voice barely audible. What if they grab me? What if they take me before we get wherever we're going? They won't, he said, not slowing even once. Not while I'm breathing. But Ha-un noticed the flicker in his eyes. Fear, buried deep, thick as winter fog. When they finally reached the office tell, it stood like a forgotten cube of concrete between two newer buildings. No signboard, no lights, just an old metal door and a keypad coated in dust. This is it, Ha-un breathed. No one knows this place exists, Min-jun said. I used it before I moved in with the family, back when things were complicated. He punched in the code. The lock clicked with a tired mechanical groan. Inside, the hallway smelled faintly of old paint and something medicinal. The elevator was too loud, too slow, so he led them up 3 flights of stairs instead. Their footsteps felt thunderous in the silence. He opened the door to a small dim room. Bare walls, a single sofa bed, a tiny kitchenette. No decorations, no personality. Just safety, or the closest thing to it. Sit, he said gently. Seo-yeon collapsed onto the sofa. Ha-un stayed beside her, rubbing slow circles on her back. Min-jun locked the door, checked the peephole twice, then pulled the curtains tight. His movements were precise, almost practiced. When he finally turned to them, the tension in his shoulders hadn't eased at all. Okay, he said quietly. We need to talk. Hyun swallowed. Tell us everything. He ran a hand over his face, then began. After your father died, he said to Seo-yeon, I found something in his things, a USB drive, hidden inside the lining of one of his coats. I didn't know what it was, but when I plugged it in, it was encrypted, dozens of files I couldn't open. Seo-yeon blinked. Why didn't you tell anyone? Because the next day, he said, voice tightening, someone broke into our house looking for something. Drawers overturned, boxes opened, but nothing was taken. That's when I knew whatever was on that drive was dangerous. He paced slowly, the old floor creaking under his steps. I destroyed it, he continued. Or I thought I did. I smashed it, burned the pieces, threw them into the river. I thought that would end it. But it didn't, Ha-un whispered. No, he said. Someone must have seen. Someone must have followed me. And instead of disappearing, the rumors started that your father left something behind. Something worth millions. Something only his family could access. Seo-yeon's voice cracked. But I don't know anything. I don't have anything. That doesn't matter to them, Min-jun said. They think you do. Silence settled like dust. Then Ha-un asked carefully, Do you know who they are? The men following us? Min-jun nodded once. One of them worked under your father. Not a close friend, more like a silent shadow. He believed in him, trusted him. And when the company collapsed, when the money vanished, he lost everything. His rage. It didn't fade. It grew. And the others? Ha-un asked. He's not working alone, Min-jun replied. He never planned to. This kind of revenge, it's organized, coordinated, and they've been patient for years. Seo-yeon trembled. Are they going to kill me? No, he said, kneeling in front of her. They want something you don't have. They'll try to scare you, corner you, use you. His voice grew colder. But they will not touch you." Seo-yeon broke into tears again, burying her face in her hands. Ha-eun wrapped her arms around her, holding tight. Min-jun stood slowly, leaning against the wall with a long, heavy exhale. The room felt too small for the weight of what he was carrying. And then his phone buzzed. Once, twice, a third time. He froze. Ha-eun's stomach dropped. "Who is it?" He checked the screen. His eyes widened, then darkened. He turned the phone toward them. A new message, from an unknown number. "Did you really think an old office tel would hide them? Open the door now." A loud knock echoed through the hallway. "Bang, bang, bang!" Seo-yeon screamed. Ha-eun covered her mouth. And Min-jun stepped forward, eyes burning with a fury Ha-eun had never seen in him. Not once in all the days she'd known him. He whispered, without turning around, "Stay behind me." And in that suffocating moment, everything inside the small room shifted, because the danger was no longer chasing them. It had arrived. The pounding on the door echoed through the narrow office tel like thunder, sharp, rhythmic, merciless. Seo-yeon's breath broke into small sobs as she clutched Ha-eun's sleeve. Ha-eun held her tighter, her own pulse shaking through her fingertips. Another blow rattled the metal frame. Bang! 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 Min-jun stood in front of the door, shoulders squared, back rigid. His voice was low when he spoke, but steady enough to anchor the room. "Don't move, don't make a sound, stay behind the sofa." Ha-eun guided Seo-yeon quickly, crouching with her behind the worn cushions. The tiny room felt even smaller now, every shadow stretching longer, every heartbeat louder. A voice came from the hallway, calm, almost bored. "Min-jun, open the door, you know how this ends." He didn't answer. The voice chuckled softly. "You're still trying to play hero, even after all these years?" Ha-eun felt a slow dread crawl up her spine. Whoever this was, he knew Min-jun, not as a stranger, not as a random threat. Personally, intimately. The doorknob rattled violently. Seo-yeon whimpered. "Shh," Ha-eun whispered, stroking her hair. "He's here. He won't let anything happen to us." Min-jun took one step closer to the door. His jaw clenched. He spoke at last. "You're not taking her." "Taking her?" The man's voice lowered. "No. No. Not at first. We only need to ask her questions. Make her remember things she doesn't know she knows." "She was a child," Min-jun growled. "She knows nothing." "That's not what her father believed." Silence fell, thick and suffocating. Then the man added lightly, almost sing-song, "She looks just like him, you know. Same eyes, same quiet fear." Ha-eun felt rage twist inside her chest. Min-jun's hand balled into a fist so tight his knuckles went bone-white. "You talk about her one more time," he said softly, "and I swear—" Crack. The door frame splintered. Seo-yeon grabbed Ha-eun's arm with a small broken sound. The lock groaned under pressure. Wood buckled, metal bent. They weren't trying to intimidate anymore. They were trying to get in. Min-jun spun around, scanning the room. "Bathroom now." He pulled them toward the tiny tiled room and shut the door behind them. The lock was flimsy. It wouldn't stop anything. But at least it bought a moment. He crouched with them, chest rising and falling quickly. "Listen to me," he whispered, eyes darting between the girls. "In a few seconds things may get loud, but no matter what happens, you stay down. You stay behind me. And you do not run out unless I tell you." Seo-yeon shook violently. "Uncle, I can't. He cupped her face gently. "You can. Because you're stronger than you think. And because I'm here." Her tears spilled over. Then Min-jun turned to Ha-eun, and for a brief moment the world shrank to just the two of them. His eyes softened, pain, fear, longing. All of it flickered through them. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I never wanted you pulled into this." But Ha-eun shook her head, jaw trembling. "Don't apologize. You think I'd leave you now." A slow, aching breath escaped him. He touched her cheek just once, softly, as if grounding himself, as if memorizing her before the storm hit. Then, boom! The front door crashed open. Heavy footsteps filled the living room. A second voice joined the first. "Search everything, she's here." Seo-yeon's nails dug into Ha-eun's palm. Ha-eun held her tighter, heart pounding so violently she felt dizzy. The men moved closer, boots scraping the floor, furniture being shoved aside. "Bathroom," one of them said. "No, no, no." Min-jun rose silently, positioning himself in front of the door, blocking them completely. The knob twisted, the lock strained. A single breath passed through the room. Then the door slammed inward. Everything erupted. The impact threw Min-jun backward, but he stayed standing, using his body as a shield. A man surged into the room, reaching instantly for Seo-yeon, but Min-jun grabbed him, slamming him into the wall. The bathroom erupted into chaos, grunts, fists, the crack of bone against tile. Ha-eun pulled Seo-yeon into the corner, covering her with her own body as the struggle roared inches away. "Min-jun!" Ha-eun screamed, but he didn't look back. He couldn't. The man swung hard, catching Min-jun across the jaw. Blood splattered against the sink. Another attacker dragged at Min-jun's arm, trying to wrench him away from the girls. Min-jun shoved back with everything he had, teeth gritted, breath ragged. He was outnumbered, but he did not fall. For a moment, just a moment, it looked like he might overpower them, until one of the men pulled out something metal, a crowbar. Ha-eun's breath shattered. "No!" she cried. The blow struck Min-jun's side. He staggered. Another hit. Another. Seo-yeon sobbed uncontrollably. Min-jun dropped to one knee, breath ripped from his lungs. The man raised the crowbar again. Ha-eun lunged forward instinctively. "Stop!" But the attacker didn't even glance at her. It didn't matter, because before the crowbar fell, the entire office shook. A siren wailed in the hallway. Flashlights burst through the broken door. Voices shouted, "Police! Drop the weapon!" The attackers froze, just for a second, just enough. Officers surged into the room, tackling both men to the floor. Metal clattered. Bodies hit tile. Someone yelled in pain. Ha-eun grabbed Seo-yeon and pulled her out of the corner, heart hammering as officers flooded every inch of the tiny space. It was over. It was over. It was... She crawled toward Min-jun, who was slumped against the bathtub, blood smeared across his cheek, breathing unsteady. "Min-jun! Min-jun, look at me," she whispered, hands shaking as she cupped his face. His eyes opened slowly, and even in pain, even bruised and battered. He smiled a little. "You're safe," he whispered. "Both of you. That's all that matters." Tears blurred her vision. "Don't say it like you're leaving," he exhaled weakly. "I'm not. I promise I'm not." His hand reached for hers. She took it instantly, squeezing hard. Outside, officers hauled the men away, shouting into radios. One approached the bathroom. "They won't get near you again," the officer said. "You're safe now." Safe. The word sounded fragile, unreal, too light for everything that had happened. But as Ha-eun held Min-jun's shaking hand and Seo-yeon wrapped her arms around both of them, crying into their shoulders, for the first time in hours, she felt the faintest breath of relief, a beginning, not the end. And none of them knew it yet. But this night, this violent, terrifying night, would become the moment that bound their lives together forever.